Hey, what's up, YouTube? Red and Bordy here. Today, we are going to talk about some screenshots that Steven was nice enough to share with us from the alpha testing in Ashes of Creation. And these screenshots, though there were only two, show us quite a bit of cool information, Bordy. So we're going to break these down, look at these guys with you, and see what we find. Bordy, are you ready, dude?
I'm ready, man. Let's jump into it.
All right. So we have the first screenshot. It has two ancients depicted in the image with, of course, a mage, Steven's mage. I think he loves mages. You know what I mean? He's always some sort of mage. It seems like so.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the man could pick literally anything. He's a GM, you know, but he's going with mage. Maybe mage is going to be overtuned at front, yeah. Bordy. You know,
maybe so.
All right. So when you look at the image, you can see the two ancients, which we've talked a little bit about ancients on one of our podcasts. We actually did a little bit of a lore episode on one of the episodes of Ashes to Go. So the ancients are pretty cool beings. Their lore is pretty neat. If you guys haven't looked into those, do that for sure. But dude, you get to see these two towering alien-looking mobs, dude. So let's first jump in here, Bordy, about the scaling of these ancients as you kind of see Steven's mage looking up at them. This is pretty interesting, man.
Yeah, I like it a lot, man. I think the scaling is spot on, to be honest. They're not just so ridiculously large, but they're also large enough to be super scary. Like, those are very intimidating looking creatures. They're probably 3 times the size as the character model standing there.
Yeah,
they're crazy looking, man. And I didn't really know what to expect whenever we're talking about ancients in game, like, and what to expect about how they look. Dude, I think these are spot on, man. They look amazing, and the feel of how large they are compared to your character really is nice. I think I like it a lot.
Yeah, and I would say they're at least 3 times bigger. It's hard to tell because they're both kind of flying up in the air, but that one kind of does seem to be standing on the ground, and with his wing spread, man, that wing spread is definitely close to, I don't know, maybe 10 times the length of a character, I think. So that's pretty cool looking, man. And we've only seen like a little bit, I guess, concept art of the ancients. So it's really cool to see them in game at this point, Bordy. So now the second thing I think that to notice about these ancients is their aesthetics, man. That they're like black looking creatures with like red, like a red, I guess like a fleshy, like visceral look to them, and then they have that purple glowing light. I assume is going to be some sort of like laser or something that they can shoot out at you. But Bordy, what do you think of the aesthetics of the in-game ancient models?
They're incredible, man. They're more than I expected them to be honest with you. The way that they look like an alien being, and they look awesome to me. But it's, I don't know why I was so blown away whenever I first seen this picture and thought, man, this looks incredible, because their art team always does an incredible job on all of their stuff. So this is no exception. They have great imaginations and great creativity, and these are great. I really like the purple glow that they have there that you had mentioned. It sets it off. It looks really good, makes them look like they are definitely some sort of magical being with a lot of higher power. And it just, yes, I don't know what else to say about it other than it's awesome. They look really good. Yeah,
they do. The picture that we got, I think it's up in the wiki, as well as I think they've showed it as concept art. Looked like it had more like of a bone appearance, like their structures or general appearance was like bone and flesh, or bone and muscle. But these look way cooler with that, like almost like charred or necrotic, like, or maybe even like onyx type of skin or bone structure or whatever it is. Like, they're almost hollow, and they have that red appearance streaking through the cracks or whatever. Dude, it is really neat to kind of look at these ancients. They do look demonic, like you were mentioning, or some sort of a higher power, maybe like a demonic angel type of appearance. But they look really dope for sure. The art team did an amazing job as usual, and I can't wait to see what the rest of these the minions in game look like, especially the bosses, because if you can imagine these ancients, which it does seem to be like one of them seems to be like a named one. If you look at the top of the screenshot boardy, there is a title that says "It Who Sunders the Land." So maybe this is the one on the right left is an ancient boss of some sort from some breach or some like world event.
Yeah, maybe so. That I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
All right, so the last thing I want to talk about is that it does show the hit points of these boardies. So Steven's character, which is level 10, it seems like, who knows if they've even figured out like how many hit points are going to be allotted at what level or have you, or I guess I'm sure it depends on constitution or whatever as well. But now the character has 3,753, and these ancients, or this particular boss that he has targeted, has 67,950 hit points, Bordy. So, I mean, in the neighborhood of 20 or, oh man, this is going to be math. 2,000 times, 2,000 times as much health. Yeah. 2,000 times as much health as the actual character, Bordy. So, obviously, we don't know how much damage output your character is doing, but usually, like, if you talk about like a PvP and a PvE type of game, Bordy, they do kind of have to keep the damage relatively the same. So I don't think we're going to be one-shotting anybody, hopefully, in PvP. Actually,
sure doesn't seem that way.
And haven't they actually mentioned, Bordy, that they do want it to be like slow combat, like the time to kill, they want to kind of keep it down for player-to-player type of combat. So if that translates into PvE, man, dude, that's a lot of hit points.
That's a lot of hit points, man. It seems like but this is probably meant to be a group boss too, or some group mob that you have to fight. I'm not so sure this is something that you're going to go out and solo. This looks very much like an in-game type of mob here.
And Steven's been known to turn on GM mode or whatever, God mode or whatever you want to call it. So, dude, I mean, he's standing in front of a raid boss and he's not dead. So maybe
he's level 10.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe we can't expect this many hit points on our characters at level 10. So I would assume like at the top of the screenshot it says 10 plus. So I guess that means it's 10 plus higher levels than your character. So I'm sure these mobs are max level or pretty close to it at this point. So
yeah, I would think so.
All right, man. Well, I think we've broken down that enough. Let's go on to the next screenshot, which is Steven's mage again, standing on, in a field of flowers in a jungle with the map open, dude. So here's the first actual picture of the map. We talked a little bit or a lot about the map, the alpha map, the dimensions of it and everything in our last Ashes of Creation video. So you guys should go check that out as well. But now we actually get to see the actual picture of the map, dude. So what do you think, man, as far as like the size and like kind of layout of the map and how it looks in game?
I like it, man. The layout looks pretty cool. I don't know a transition whenever we have nodes in terms of tactical advantages or disadvantages or whatever. I think all of that stuff is still yet to be determined by players anyway, but the layout of it looks really cool. It's very aesthetically pleasing in terms of like how there's coves going in there. I really like the big island there and then the little coves going into the mainland. That's really cool because I think that's going to provide for a lot of naval opportunity, a lot of naval gameplay and potential PvP instances going through there. I really like that a lot, and I really enjoy the layout. And it looks like there's even like a little river that kind of snakes through there on the right-hand side of the map. That looks cool too. So I don't know if you can probably drive a boat down to that little river or not. It looks like a snake basically. That'd be cool if that's some kind of little canal that you can drive or sell a boat down. That'd be cool. So overall, I think it looks great, man. I didn't really know what to expect in terms of what it would actually look like, but I think it's fine. Looks good to me.
Yeah, dude. And we know this is about a fourth of the actual map. So you can kind of see the marker on the player on the map. And that's pretty good sized. Obviously the marker's oversized for the actual character, but dude, that's a pretty decent map. I do like the rivers tied to the seas. Like you said, it would be cool if ships can actually sail up those into ports, into cities along the river. I think that'd be really dope. If you look close into the map as well, you can see some markers specifically, and I'll try to bring my cursor onto the screen here. You get to see a dragon marker, dude. So maybe some sort of dragon world boss. And then you get to see these little, like, which look like monster skulls across the map down here as well. And then you get to see some freehold, or maybe these are actual, like, cities or node hubs on each of these particular things. Because, I mean, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 nodes, if those were nodes on the map. So what do you think, Bordy? Seeing the landmarks and the different, I mean, I would assume that, as you explore, maybe you open up more of these icons, or who knows how it's going to actually be. I doubt they've mentioned Fog of War a lot in previous discussions, so I would assume that, this is kind of areas that particular character has explored on the map. But what do you think about these world bosses and node or freehold type icons on the map, and how distant they are and all of that stuff?
Yeah, I would assume that those are the little building icons. I would assume are nodes. That's the thing that makes sense in my mind, but I don't, I obviously can't speak on that for sure. So I don't really know what the icons are, but I would assume you're right that they're some kind of world bosses and then the nodes. I think it's fine that the distance between them seems pretty if those are nodes, they seem rather close to me, but then again, the map is pretty large. So it might take you a long time to get from one to the other, but also the way nodes work, with you can't overlap nodes and all of the, you have your vassal nodes and all that. So it's probably fine in terms of how close they are. But until I can actually get into the game and roam around and really get a feel for how close they are and see a node actually develop, it's going to be really hard to say, like, oh, they're too close or they're, too far away.
Sure. Yeah. And I think I remember from our last video, I think there was supposed to be 12 nodes in the alpha, I want to say. I might be misremembering, but it does seem like, when you look at the map, there's a lot of like, and you mentioned rivers. I think that was a good notice, because these rivers seem to be dividing up the nodes a little bit. If you watch the nodes kind of, or the rivers kind of come into the node, you can kind of see that it kind of naturally divides those. And maybe this one towards the mountainside, there is a node there that this player hasn't particularly discovered or something like that over here as well. Because again, I as far as scaling goes, it does look like these nodes are pretty massive, dude. Especially if these are the only nodes within this quarter of the map. Dude, these worlds and how they've kind of explained the questing system and how they kind of develop as a node develops, and how different world events and everything like that develops as you develop a node. You can see that they have a lot of space to work with all of these world quests and bosses and everything like that. As the node grows up, because dude, those node sizes are look to be pretty crazy if that's, if they're being divided by the landmarks, kind of like like it appears that they are on the map.
Yeah, which is cool. I also like the way that this whole portion of the map, I don't know if it's going to be this way on release or not. This may just be strictly for alpha testing, but how there's a mountain that goes kind of around this whole portion of the map. So this entire portion of the map is basically secluded from the rest of it. And that may just be an alpha thing, but it'd be really cool if that were how it was. And this was like a whole secluded area, and there was a couple of passageways through there to get to this area of the map. I don't know. I kind of like that. I like kind of how secluded it is. I would definitely want to be involved in a node in this area if that were the case. Also, did you see the volcano on the island, dude?
Yeah, dude.
How cool is that, man?
That's pretty awesome.
I want to know if that's something that you can go explore, or if it's going to be, or if there's, I know there are dynamic events that happen in Ashes of Creation whenever you develop a node. So what happens if you develop that node that's right there next to that volcano? At some point, is that volcano going to erupt? Is that a thing that's going to happen?
Terrible.
That'd be terrible, but it'd also be really cool.
Metropolis, and then all of a sudden the volcano erupts and just destroys everything.
Lava flows down to all the citizens. Yeah, that would suck.
One of the things, and this is where we're gonna live, Bordy, if we get, if we get the opportunity to choose a node we live in, dude. Look at the one at the very top. At the very top of the map, or the highest northern part of the map, dude. That seems to be like in the mountains, brother. I want to be a mountain dwelling. Whatever I choose, dude, I would love to have and again, having these moments, knowing that they're gonna have siege and everything like that in the game kind of opens up those cool dynamics on which node you live in, or the location of your node, if you're in the mountains or you're on the sea or you're on a river or you're, what I mean, wherever your node is. And this map kind of fleshes out pretty well, or it's very interesting how it shows all the different dynamics of the land masses and how they're being used to divide these nodes. It'll be cool or interesting to see how these big battles develop based on the location of your node or your freehold. It's going to be cool, man.
Yeah, it is. I could see some crazy things happening with this map layout and the way they have it. I'm sure they probably, I'm sure they probably, that doesn't make sense. I'm sure they put a lot of thought into how the map lays out anyway, and where the nodes are, and strategically placing those things, because that's an important part of the gameplay, I think. And having these encounters, these random encounters, it's important to have a map that leans itself towards that type of gameplay,
Yeah, for sure. Dude, I'm excited. This is cool. I hope they continue to share stuff from Alpha, because I know right now the NDA is still up. So the only way we're getting any of this information is through Steven and the official Ashes of Creation team. So I hope as they can, and they did mention, and this is important to note, guys, there is a live stream this week. So they did mention that they're going to show more actual footage during that. So that'll be really cool. So don't forget to tune in on that. Bordy, it's been a fun one, man. I like looking at this kind of stuff. Speculating on the the alpha for Ashes and just the game in general, because I think there's a lot of interesting things to kind of look into when it comes to these systems and the map and everything like that. So it's been a fun one, man. Guys, don't forget to hit the sub button, the notification bell for more Ashes of Creation content like this. And yeah, Bordy, anything else you want to say real quick before we sign
No,
out?
I think we've got it covered, man. I think that was about it.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you in the next one.